Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Four Star Classic. Let's just get some house cleaning things out of the way, kind of address some things. So, originally we planned to record this show on a Saturday, and then we realized we're both college students that enjoy college football, and Saturdays were not going to work. So then we decided we were going to move the day to Thursdays. Something came up last night, so we're now recording this on a Friday afternoon. But from now on, the recording day will be Thursday, uploaded Friday. So this episode, usually the episodes come out on Tuesday. This one will come out on Saturday, October 24th, most likely. But from now on, look for them to drop on Friday, because we'll record it on Thursday and then I'll edit it, get it together, and release it on Friday. As always, I'm joined here with my co-host Xavier. Whether it's this podcast or the Still Developmental podcast, I'm sure y'all are well aware of my man Xavier. And I say we just go ahead and jump into things.
Let's jump into it, man. Let's do it.
AEW Dynamite, October 21st, 2020. So, this show started off with Wardlow facing Jungle Boy in the first round of I believe they're calling it the Eliminator Tournament.
I believe.
It's the AEW World Heavyweight number one contendership tournament, basically. Whoever wins the tournament's the number one contender to the AEW World Championship.
Yes, and the finals will be at Full Gear, I believe.
Yes. Wardlow, they mentioned on commentary, was on a 8-match win streak headed into this match, and I'm just gonna be honest, this match did not disappoint.
No, it didn't. Not at all.
This was a perfect way to start the show. It was high energy. I have some notes here. I took some notes while I was watching, and they had one spot where I think Jungle Boy was going to hit something off the apron onto Wardlow, who was on the outside, and Wardlow caught him, hoisted him up, and power bombs him into the ring post.
Yeah, because look, they always make the point on commentary that those ring posts aren't rounded off, and every time they say it, I'm just like, that's gotta hurt, man.
Yeah,
it was a great spot though. I love the match. I thought they meshed both of their styles really well. Obviously, Wardlow's your powerhouse. He's probably around 260, 270 maybe. Jungle Boy is all of a $150 on a good day. So that's nothing against Jungle Boy. It's just the fact of the matter of the match. I thought they meshed their styles very well. They could have easily came out here and had Wardlow just destroy Jungle Boy. I'm very glad they didn't, because Jungle Boy is a rising star in the industry. They meshed their styles together really well. There was one spot where I think Jungle Boy was trying to do a backstabber. He couldn't get Wardlow over, and it was kind of funny. But at the same time, it worked because it was high energy, like you said, which helps Wardlow too, because it shows he can do more than just the power game.
yeah.
And then Jungle Boy is going to be just fine. He'll be just fine, guys. So I love the way – it was a great way to start the show. Wardlow goes over as he should. I have no complaints from the match at all.
In case y'all couldn't use your eyes to see the size difference between Wardlow and Jungle Boy, JR had you covered. Oh, well, Tony, I see about a foot size difference. And, I mean, we're talking, what, 60, 70, 80 pounds difference here? I mean, it's Wardlow, man. I've been around territory a lot. That's old school wrestling. I don't know where this rant came from, but before the match even gets going, this dude is spewing off about old school wrestling. And
according to Google, Wardlow is 267 pounds, so that's that. So,
and there was one point in the match because they kept teasing a lariat spot with Wardlow, and Jungle Boy would duck it, and man, he finally, I mean, I wrote it in all caps here, lariat. He finally connected on that lariat and killed him on it.
Yes, for all of our, well, I guess older audience, I guess you could say. Y'all remember the JBL clothesline from hell? He gave JBL a run for his money right there with that clothesline.
Yeah.
That right there was some wicked. But
then,
the match, it was a perfect spot in the match.
Wardlow, so Jungle Boy was up on the top rope at one point, sitting there, and Wardlow goes to get him, and he picks him up, and they're teasing like they're about to do a power bomb spot off the top rope, and Jungle Boy turns into a hurricanrana, and for half a second, I thought they missed the spot, and I thought Warlow landed on his neck and died. It was a sick hurricane. Warlow, he was able to turn his body so he didn't land on his head, but when they first released, it looked like he was going to land on his head, and I was concerned.
Yeah, we're always going to say that. First and foremost, we want all these guys to be safe. They're just trying to make a living doing what they love to do, and we all love to watch it. But, I mean, I'm happy he got his head out the way. I really am. You hate to see anything like that in any match.
Then Warlow, I believe his finish is what, the F10?
Yes.
He hits a sick F10 on Jungle Boy, pins him for the win, and then JR decides to hammer home the point. Well, you know, Tony, athletic big men sell wrestling tickets. Athletic big men, because he said it once, and I let it slide. And he said it a second time, and I'm like, okay, Jim, let's stop. And then, as soon as they're getting ready to cut from the picture of Warlow winning, all you hear Jim for a third time. You know, athletic big men sell wrestling tickets. We get it, Jim. We get it. We get it. Big men sell tickets from where you're from. We get it. You don't have to say it 3 times.
Yeah. But perfect way to start the show. And then they transition into the Eddie Kingston promo after last week showing off the air.
This promo, oh my God.
I thought it was a very, 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 very smart move to include this in the episode of Dynamite this week. That promo right there solidified this match for me that's happening to Full Gear. That promo right there is making me pay $60. I was going to watch it anyway. So that makes me want to pay $60 to watch the show.
Yeah.
That promo right there was phenomenal.
That's what Eddie was talking about. You know, you promised you were going to take me with you. You promised you weren't going to leave me here, and yet you did. You left me. All I had was pro wrestling. That's all I had left because you left me. You can just feel the emotion in Eddie's voice. He said he's talking to Moxley. He's like, you said that inmates were going to run the prison. You said you were going to change something. You're going to take us with you, and you didn't bring any of us with you. And it's just Kingston's got tears in his eyes as he's screaming this at Moxley.
Yeah, and Moxley's sitting there knocked out, of course, but I can only imagine the dude smiling on the inside, like, yeah, we got him. Like, this is perfect. Like, those are the moments in wrestling to me that sets this sport apart from other sports to me. When you can get in the ring, it's just you and an opponent, and y'all work flawlessly together. There's something special there. Yeah. It's like watching offense just score 50 points a game. It's fun. It's like in football. It's a great feeling. It makes me enjoy the sport even more because, look, we're going to get into it later. This I Quit match is going to be something special.
Yeah.
This I Quit match is going to be ruthless.
So after they show the promo from last week, and then they announce that Mox and Kingston are having an I Quit match at the pay-per-view for the title, which I want to see what they're going to do with Lance Archer, just like moving forward, like what program he has. Because honestly, I wouldn't have been upset if Archer would have won the title last week. I get why they didn't put it on him, but it's just interesting to see where they'll go with Lance Archer. I think he's going to run something with Team Taz, if I had to guess.
Probably, which I like it because you can get goodness gracious, I'm drawing a blank. What's his name, Austin? Not Ricky Starks.
Brian Cage. Who can stop the path of Cage?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went blank for saying we just got out of class. Go to school, kids. But that...
I mean, I don't know. If we're just going to spend all class defending NASCAR.
They can get Cage in a promo with Lance Archer, and that'll be great, too. And then Ricky Starks, I've said it before, the dude's just straight up money. I don't know what else to say about that.
So after they show Eddie's promo from last week, and they announce the I Quit match. They go to a Moxley sit down promo, and this was just as good as Eddie's promo. Yeah. So Mox is sitting there, and he's like, "Yeah, he's like, you want me to apologize for putting my mom in a new house? You want me to apologize for providing for my wife? You want me to apologize for making sure my family's better off than I ever was? I'm not going to apologize for that." He's like, I'm not, I made my money. I'm not apologizing for that. I did what I had to do to put my family first. And then he goes, he was like, Eddie, you were a brother to me. You were my best friend. And he goes, but I don't know you anymore. He's like, you are bitter. You're angry. You're backstabbing. I don't know you anymore. He goes, but, and then this was the kicker. At the end of the promo, he goes, I don't know the Eddie Kingston that I'm facing now, but I'm going to beat him until I get my old best friend back, or I kill this version of Eddie Kingston that exists now. It's like, oh my God.
Oh, and it cuts, and it's like, yep, we're here.
Yeah, like, it's like, you got him. You just solidified your pay-per-view main event right there.
Yep.
It was just, these two are money, and I'm glad AEW saw that and is running with it because, you know, understandably, I can see why a company would be hesitant to push Eddie Kingston to the main event because, you know, while he had all the success in the indies, nobody knew him mainstream.
Yes.
But Eddie Kingston's showing just how good he is because he can get himself over in a matter of months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he debuted like the last week of July or something like that in AEW when he answered Cody's TNT Open Challenge. And here he is just a few months later in the main event of Full Gear for the AEW Championship.
Yep.
Now, I don't think they'll put the title on Eddie, but God, I'd love it if they would.
I would love to see it. It's going to take another megastar draw to get that title off of Moxley, in my opinion.
Kenny or Cody. It'll be Kenny, Cody, or Hangman. Those are going to be your next champions.
That's exactly what I was about to say. The Cleaner is coming for that title.
You know what? Speaking of the Cleaner, that moves us directly into the next match on the card. So this was supposed to be Joey Janela versus Kenny Omega in another first round matchup for the AEW in the AEW World Title Tournament. Joey Janela, because as y'all may not know, but AEW lets their talents work independent matches. They let them work on the take bookings on the indies. And Joey Janela was working a show. He's at an independent show and came into contact with somebody. They didn't say he tested positive, but he came into contact with somebody that tested positive for the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. And out of caution, they told him to stay home, wouldn't let him come to Jacksonville, which was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
So they had Sonny Kiss fill in, and it makes sense because one, everybody and their mamas knew that Kenny Omega was winning this match, so it didn't really matter who you put in there. But Sonny Kiss is Janela's tag team partner, so it made sense. So Sonny Kiss gets her entrance. It is what it is. It's just the Sonny Kiss entrance. And then this Kenny Omega entrance. Oh my God. You've got two girls with brooms sweeping the ground in front of one of the entrance ramps. You've got like a little like hologram circle silhouette of Kenny on the other entrance.
Yep.
And this dude comes out. They put the brooms into an X. And all you hear on commentary, oh, yeah, the Cleaner's back. Tony Excalibur, the Cleaner. That's the Cleaner. Yes, Jim, it is the Cleaner.
We're not going to forget about Justin Roberts. He sat there and read off all of Kenny Omega's accomplishments, and I popped in my living room. I was like, "Yep, he's back." That was phenomenal. Now look, I'm a huge fan of Justin Roberts. I think he's a phenomenal ring announcer, always have been. But when he was sitting there reading off the list, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is money right here."
He's like, he has this many 5-star matches. He was the wrestler of the year this year, and he was the wrestler of the year in X year and X year. He's won all these. It's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, oh my God. And he comes out. They do he makes the X's with the two brooms. He gets in the ring, and you can just tell this dude is amped up. He's ready to be out of a tag team.
Yep.
At bell rings, he hits Sonny Kiss with the most stiff V-trigger I have ever seen.
I legitimately, I thought Sonny was hurt for a second.
He ran his knee right into Sonny's jaw, and you heard it. And it's like, oh my God.
Oh, that's.
And he wasn't done there because right when he got up, this dude picks up Sonny Kiss, one winged angel, 1, 2, 3, and then he shrugs and laughs at the camera.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, this dude's
like,
back.
Perfect way to do the match. Perfect way to do the match. Like, obviously, you want to see a performer get there, shine. Sonny Kiss is a phenomenal talent, but it was a perfect way to do the match for Kenny Omega.
Sonny Kiss was like 2-10 or 2-11 this year.
It was a perfect way. It was a perfect way to get Kenny, introduce the cleaner to AEW, get Kenny ready to go, and it just helps build up his character even more now that he's out of the tag team.
Because if Sonny Kiss would have gotten any offense in, it would have killed what they're trying to do with Kenny. It absolutely would have killed it.
I wonder if the plan was the same with Janela.
I absolutely believe it was.
It might have been, honestly. I was thinking about that after the match.
I absolutely think that's why they gave him such a low opponent for the first round, because Joey or Sonny getting beat in singles competition, that does it's not going to affect them because they work as a tag team.
Yeah,
they fully were going to do this with Joey Janela too, as they should have.
And I thought it was perfect. I love the spot. And then Kenny goes to the back, and we're just waiting for more.
Well, after the match, he tries to hug Sonny Kiss, and Sonny will not embrace him, and Kenny can't really understand why, but I mean we all know why. He killed Sonny with that V trigger, but that's what it just helps build the character.
Yes.
Because Kenny's trying to act all oh, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just doing what I do. And it's like, no, Kenny, you're a bad guy. So after this, I believe it was it Tony Schiavone that did the backstage interview with Orange Cassidy from earlier in the day?
I believe so.
Yeah. So you go backstage, and Tony Schiavone's doing an interview with Orange Cassidy. And he's like, Orange, next week you've got your rematch with Cody for the TNT title. How you feeling about it? And Orange Cassidy looks at Tony Schiavone and goes, well, sometimes calls go your way. Sometimes calls don't go your way. We're on to Cincinnati. And Tony looks at him and goes, next week's Jacksonville. Orange Cassidy shrugs his shoulders and starts playing with the TV monitor. It was funny. It is what Orange Cassidy is.
It was great. He said, we're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, he said, we're on to Cincinnati. It's like, oh, okay. And then, after talking to Orange Cassidy, they decided to catch up with Cody Rhodes, who, despite saying he has the week off, is here to be the EVP to produce the show, which, okay, weirdo. So he's holding the designer bag. Him and Arn are outside the car, and interviewer walks up. She's like, Cody, we heard in your 6 weeks off, you've added 14 pounds. Why are they? Okay, I get why they're running with it. I'm tired of this. They are you can tell that they are doing the slowest build to a heel turn ever, and I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. If I have to watch one more week of slow heel turn, I'm gonna set myself on fire. I will set myself on fire. Just turn him already, because I'm starting to get convinced they're just never gonna turn him.
The car pulls up, and I'm sitting in the living room with my dad, and we're watching the show. And Arn Anderson hops out the car, and Arn is in some jean shorts and a tucked-in shirt. And JR goes, "That's a Robin style." My dad looked at me. He said, that ain't in style. I said,
Yeah, it's not.
you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. Shout out Stephen A. Smith. But the promo, I mean, I feel like it's the same promo every week with Cody.
Because it is.
The same thing. Like
it's the same promo every week for the past 6 months.
And it's eating at me. When they finally flip him, it'll be great. I hope it happens at Full Gear. If it happens, we'll see what happens. I don't have anything else to say about it because I feel like we say the same thing every week. So
the big highlight of this promo was Cody. He's got the TNT title, and he's like, "Oh, well, I put on weight because we got a bunch of light heavyweights in this company, but I'm moving up to the heavyweight territory. The Jake Hagers, the Mr. Brody Lees, the Lance Archers, the Brian Cage. He goes, I'm going into heavyweight territory. All right, so you're going up to the AEW World Championship. That's all you had to say. I mean, that's what he was. That was the point of this promo, which I'm fine with that as long as it's a heel Cody that pursues that title.
I have zero issues with what they're trying to do. I'm just starting to get. I'm with you. It's the same thing over and over again, and I've never
dragging it out a little too long.
I've never understood why we try to do the weight classes in wrestling like it's ever mattered. Like,
yeah.
Wardlow and Jungle Boy, obviously you need to point the weight out. That's fine, okay? That's not what I'm saying. Daniel Bryan was champion for a long time in WWE, and he's like 205 pounds. It doesn't that doesn't matter. Whoever's hot is getting the belt at the time.
Shawn Michaels went over on Vader in '96.
It's not MMA to where you got to be 205 to be a light heavyweight in the UFC. It's not. It's not what it is. Like I get what they're saying in a way, but at the same time, I feel like it doesn't matter. If you get what I'm saying, so that's just my.
I mean, Cody went over on Lance Archer before he gained the 14 pounds, so it's pointless in my opinion. Just turn the dude heel already. So after the Cody interview, we get a Eddie Kingston interview, which once again,
dude,
it's just money. And they're sitting there, they're talking to Eddie, and he's like, Mox, you sit here and you say I'm bitter and I'm angry and I'm a snake, and you're thinking, okay, like he's gonna deny it. He goes, I am. He goes, I am each and every single one of those things, but I had to do to become what I am. Mm-hmm. He's sitting there, he's telling Mox, he's like, when I was nice, when I was your best friend, when I was the good guy, what'd that get me? A bunch of independent bookings. And now look at me, the bitter, angry, backstabbing snake. And where am I, Mox? The main event of Full Gear. I had to do what I did to become who I am and put myself in the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Just once again, just solidifying that they absolutely made the right decision with this main event.
Absolutely.
It's money.
There's nothing else I can say about it. The promo was phenomenal. These two, I was a little lukewarm on Full Gear until this week. After this episode, I'm very, very excited. If you can't tell, for Full Gear, I am.
Yeah. So after the Eddie promo, we get Eddie Kingston again because he's out on commentary because Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix are facing off in the first round of the AEW World Title Tournament. So Eddie Kingston's on commentary. He's like, oh, hey, Excalibur, hey, Tony, F you, JR. This dude, from the jump, has got beef with JR, and I love it because I got beef with JR. Sitting there, he's like, F you, JR, I don't like you, you're annoying.
They're just sitting there going back and forth, and I'm just loving every second of it. He walks up, he's like, what's up, Excalibur? And Excalibur's looking at him like, hey, Edward. It's like, what, Edward?
Yeah, he did call him Edward.
Like, what? It's like, all right, cool. And he's like, JR. It's
yeah,
like,
he's
oh.
Like, JR, Jim. It's like, what? Huh?
Dude,
they're sitting at one point in the match, and I think Ray went for a pin or vice versa. Somebody went for a pin and didn't hook the leg, and JR was like, "Well, I don't think they got it because they didn't hook the leg, and I think that might be due to fatigue and in the match." And Eddie Kingston goes, "I can't believe I'm agreeing with Jim Ross right now." It's like I love it because I don't like JR. This match, it was match of the night easily.
easily.
And this match is probably the best Dynamite match since Pac and Kenny Omega had that 30-minute Iron Man match earlier in the year.
Yes.
Because that was on the Go Home show to Revolution, wasn't it?
I think so because I remember them playing on that at the pay-per-view. I'm
Yeah.
pretty close.
I think it was the Go Home show to Revolution earlier this year, so like February. And they had a 30-minute Iron Man match, and this was the best Dynamite match I've seen since that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, God, these two. So, they do the handshake to start, and immediately, I mean, they're brothers, and
Yep.
they touched on this in commentary, like, they got their start in the States by facing each other,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell. They've got
Yep.
chemistry, they're reversing everything. And JR was like, oh, I think we're going to see a lot of reversals in this match. And Eddie's like, oh, really, you think? Great analysis, Jim. And Jim's just like, whatever, Eddie. Like, Jim is hot. Jim is shoot hot right now. At one point in the match, they did a slapping challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt my chest watching this.
Yep.
They chopped the mess out of each other. I mean, Ray's chest is bloodied and red from how hard he's getting chopped. They did the slapping challenge, and then they go to picture in picture. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch picture in picture. I get on my phone. I don't pay attention in picture because if you guys wanted me to, if you're gonna do something in the match, and you want me to pay attention to it, you should probably do it on TV, not picture in picture.
Yeah.
There was one point in the match where, or during picture in picture that I happened to look up and see it. They were fighting outside, and Pentagon had Phoenix up against the ring post and went to chop him, and Phoenix ducked, and Pentagon chopped the ring post.
Yeah.
And they did play on that, but still, that's kind of one of those things where even a few weeks ago with the Brody Cody match, where they did the package pile driver onto the table in picture. How do you not get your big spots on TV? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, get them on TV. Don't get them on picture in picture. So, I wrote down that I felt like it was a pay-per-view quality match because I truly feel like it was.
Yeah, I agree.
And the ending, so Pentagon is going, I think he's going for like the package pile driver or something. And Phoenix reverses it, hits his finisher, and pins Pentagon Jr. to advance. Because I'll be honest, this was the one match in the first round that I didn't know how it was going to go.
Yeah.
I feel like I knew 100% Hangman and Kenny were going to win, and I was about 70-30 on the Warlow Jungle Boy match with Warlow winning. This match was 50-50 for me. I had no clue who was going to win.
Yeah. I wrote down simply phenomenal match. And the ending was great too. Let me start by saying this. The thing Phoenix can do with the ropes and his balance, it should be illegal, okay? It is phenomenal to watch. I don't understand how he does it. Like, the dude comes out and he's like balancing on the second rope and the top rope, and I'm just like, I can't even stand on my 2 feet half the time. So it's just ridiculous to watch. So that's I want to start off by saying that. But phenomenal match. They go through all their spots. I've always liked the Lucha Bros ever since they got in AEW. I love the Lucha style. I love their style of wrestling. But the ending is what got me. When Phoenix reverses it and beat his brother, because Phoenix is younger brother, I believe. I think so. Correct?
Yeah, Phoenix is the younger brother.
And Penta's sitting there hot. And I felt that because I have a younger brother and I understand the competition element of it. So you can say it's acting like he wants. He was pissed that he lost. Believe it or not. They know he's going to win for the Masters, obviously, but he was pissed that he lost, and you can see that. You can feel it. And then they go on and do the whole family thing, and great match. There's nothing else I can say about it. Great match.
Yeah. I mean, it was simply a great match, and like I said, the best Dynamite match I've seen since that Iron Man match in February.
Sets up Kenny versus Ray next week, and they're going to compete to beat the Dynamite match of the year with that match. So,
So after this, they should do a Miro Best Friends video package. Last week during the tag team title match, I think it was Trent like ran into the gaming thing that Kip Sapien was playing and broke it. And so Kip Sapien and Miro attacked him post match, and Kip's like, "Oh, this machine was my best friend, and you killed him, and Miro is the best man. So you hurt my friend, I'm gonna hurt you." And I hate this gimmick. I hate this feud. I hate everything that Miro and Kip Sapien are doing. To be quite brutally honest with it, I love Best Friends. And I loved Miro when he was Rusev as a singles dude in WWE. I loved that. His gimmick is he's a Twitch streamer. And it feels like it's just to make fun of WWE for how they're dealing with the Twitch stuff. Because in case y'all don't know, WWE is doing this thing where like they're basically taking control of all their talents' Twitch accounts and all that. And so it feels like Miro's gimmick is just to poke fun at that, which sucks because it's the same exact thing that they did with Brody Lee when he first came in, when they were doing the Exalted one, and it was just a Vince McMahon ripoff to make fun of Vince McMahon. It sucks. All four dudes are talented, and Best Friends obviously are talented as a team. Like, eventually, I could see them being tag team champions. But this sucks. I hate Miro's gimmick. I hate Kip Sapien's gimmick. And it's not like, oh, I hate it, like, you're great heels, I'm going to boo you. I hate it as in this sucks, it's boring, and I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I don't feel that strongly about it. I don't necessarily enjoy it, but I don't necessarily think it's terrible either. But at the same time, where are they going with this? How is this I don't like how the video game's implicating the match, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't like
the whole storyline is, oh, you broke my video game.
Yeah. Which I play video games, I get it, but at the same time, you're a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
It's not that's my biggest problem with it. I don't hate Kip Sabian's gimmick or Miro's gimmick just simply because it gives them both the end with each other. And if they're going to be a team, then that's fine. I don't like the fact that the broken arcade machine is the point of the match. That's my biggest problem with it. I don't like that at all. And I agree with you. I think it'll be a good match when it happens because, like you said, all four guys are extremely talented. I just don't like the fact that they're not getting TV time either. The whole point of it is he broke the game. We got to fight now. That's not – I don't really appreciate it.
Trivial, childish.
I don't like it, but it is what it is. The match will be good when it happens. Hopefully we can get away from the arcade machine being broken. We can actually have a story next time. But.
And that's what, like, you can always tell when the Best Friends don't really like what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they'll just kind of bury it in their promo and it fits their gimmick. Like, a couple weeks ago when they had the weenie shirts for FTR, like, they were like, oh, yeah, like, this kind of sucks. Like, I think Trent even went on Twitter and was like, this sucks, don't buy the shirt. Yeah. And even in the video package, that's what Chuck was like, well, Trent was the one that got thrown into it, not me, so I don't know why this concerns me. And he's like, and even then, he got thrown into it, so why are you mad at us?
Yeah.
Go be mad at FTR. Like, it's just, I just don't. Every time Miro or Kip Sabian come on my TV, I stop paying attention.
I would have liked to see them I would have rather than just throwing the match together, like throw it together this week on Dynamite and just don't have the game angle. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, if it was just like a competition thing where they want to play the game and they get pissed off whoever loses, that's different. We're fighting over a broken arcade machine. What? Arcade games anymore.
Because look, I'll be on. I don't think there's nothing that they could do with the current gimmicks that Miro and Kip Sabian have. There's nothing they could do that would make me pay attention or like it. To be honest, this dude is engaged to Penelope Ford and has Miro as his best friend and is crying about how a video game was his best friend. That's lame. That's dweebish. I like, and not to say dweeb can't be over, and like Spike Dudley was a dweeb, but he was over. His gimmick ruled. This just sucks. To be quite frank with it, I hate it. I don't like any of it.
Yeah.
Because to be completely honest, right when Miro debuted, at first when they showed like the back of his head walking through the entrance, I thought it was Luther. So I've gotten my hopes up. Like that got my hopes up, and it wasn't my boy Luther. You know, it wasn't Luther. So then I stopped caring about the best man gimmick, and then it was Miro with his blonde hair, and I didn't care for that either. Like, this dude's just a Twitch streamer that does wrestling on the side, and I don't care for it at all. I just feel like there's so much more he could be doing. He's capable of doing so much more than what he is doing.
Yeah. They got the roles reversed. They needed to do something else besides game. And look, we're not dogging Twitch streamers at all. I love watching Twitch streamers. If you want to do that, that is 110% yours. If you want to make money off it, you go do that.
Yeah, it's not a wrestling gimmick.
I feel like they could have done so much more than the Broken Arcade game. That's all I'm going to say.
And my thing is, like, I guess at its core, it's not even that he's a Twitch streamer for his gimmick. Like, that's not even the biggest issue. It's just they're only doing it to make fun of the WWE. That's my issue, and it's not. I don't care. It's not that I love WWE and I'm defending WWE. It's not that. It's just Bush League. You know, it's like when TNA back in the day would just take shots at WWE, or during the Monday Night Wars when Vince was doing the $1 billion Ted or the billionaire Ted skits.
Yeah.
You know, it's just focus on your own product. Like, imagine you have these 4 guys, and instead of building the whole storyline around a gimmick that's making fun of WWE, you just made it your own.
Yeah.
It would work so much better.
I would have rather them, like, bump into each other in the hallway, start fist fighting, and we have a match full gear. I would have rather that than the rubber video game. It would make more sense to me, but I don't know. I'm not booking the show.
Yeah, so after this video promo that I did not pay much attention to, we have a Dark Order interview, which I did pay a lot of attention to because it was great. So it's Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and Colt Cabana backstage. Brody, he's been off TV for a few weeks. I expect he'll be. I'm assuming that they just gave him some time off because he was being a workhorse. So they're sitting there, and John Silver and Alex Reynolds, they're in the tag team gauntlet, the Fatal 4-Way tag team match. Sorry, they're in the Fatal 4-Way tag team main event tonight, and the winner goes on to face FTR. So they're like, Mr. Brody. I think Alex Reynolds is like, Mr. Brody Lee gave us this shot. He's gonna. He gave us the chance to do this, and we're going to make the Dark Order proud. We're going to capitalize on this opportunity, and we're going to go win the match, and then we're going to go win the titles, and we're going to bring them home to the Dark Order. And then John Silver is like, yeah, this big idiot Colt Cabana, I don't like you, idiot. You stink. But me and Alex Reynolds, we're going to win. He's like, look at these pythons. Because it was Alex Marvez giving the interview. He was like, look at these arms, Marvez. Look at these arms. Who's beating me? Who's beating me, Marvez? Nobody. Nobody's beating me. I'm John Silver. And then Colt Cabana is like, well, my friend's here in the Dark Order. And then John Silver grabs them and goes, we're not your friends. We don't like you, idiot. You stink. And Colt Cabana just he's like, all right, anyway, so my friends are going to win their tag team match, and I'm going to win this match against Hangman, and I'm going to bring the title to the Dark Order. And Alex Reynolds goes, while we hope you do bring the title to the Dark Order, we don't like you.
It's like,
we do not like you. We are not your friend. We think you suck. Because John Silver, especially with BTE, with Brody not being here, he's like taking over as like de facto leader of the Dark Order, and it's hilarious. And so Marvez is like, oh, well, Colt, you're next. And Silver's like, "Hey, Stinky, don't mess it up."
Yeah.
And they walk off, and then that sends us right into the Colt versus Hangman match.
Yes. Colt versus Hangman. Look, there's going to be a lot of bias in this because I grew up listening to Colt Cabana's podcast. So I personally love Colt Cabana. I thought the match was solid. I thought it was a great way. Colt Cabana is much more than the Dark Order's. How do I put this? I guess they're more. I don't even know who he is. I guess he's one of their marquee club members or whatever you want to say now.
No, he's like the Charlie Brown of the Dark Order.
Like, yeah, they're like giving him special treatment and stuff, and it's like whatever. So, but I love the match. I thought it was great. You could see Colt was just trying to get under Hangman's skin by doing technical stuff, and it worked really well because then when Hangman finally hit that lariat in the match, it just made you feel all that much better about it. Thought it was a great match. They played off each other very well. I like Colt Cabana. I don't know what he's doing in the Dark Order. I'm interested to see what they are because I love the Dark Order and I like the Colt element to it. I just want to know what they're going to do with it. But I guess we'll see when Brody comes back.
So when they come out, so Evil Uno was accompanying Colt Cabana to the ring, and Hangman comes out, and on Hangman's nameplate, it says entered via series of drunken messages.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was funny to play on the Hangman's alcoholic character. I'll be for whatever reason, my mood really just dropped after that Miro and Best Friends video package. Because in my notes, I wrote, meh, I don't care about picture-in-picture, because I'm pretty sure they went to picture-in-picture at least once, maybe even twice during this match, and put Hangman wins. I feel like it went a little long, in my opinion. I feel like they could have made it shorter, and I would have been okay with it. Hangman got the buckshot lariat reversed like 4 times and was pissed.
You know, that's the match in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that because that's Hangman's one move. What's he gonna do when he can't hit the move? And he finally hit the move. So,
and what I thought was interesting was they noted on commentary that neither one of these dudes were ranked in the singles rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Neither Hangman or Colt were ranked, which, like, I get Colt, but I just thought it was kind of weird that Hangman wasn't ranked.
Yeah.
But they're like, this is huge for the rankings. Not, I mean, I guess, but isn't the whole point of the tournament you get to skip the rankings because you win the tournament?
Yeah. Which Eddie, to be fair, Eddie coming in threw off the rankings because you can't just rank the dude, and he's money. You got to put him in the title picture.
Well, the rankings really haven't mattered that much, to be completely honest.
Fair. I was iffy on it to start when they said they were going to do the rankings. I haven't really hated it, but I don't think it's necessary either. If you're an established fan, you kind of can play what's going to happen. So they're not going to ditch it. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying I don't think it means as much as they put behind it sometimes.
It don't.
Yeah.
But it was an alright match. It was just like kind of cookie cutter to me. And like I said, Hangman wins. The Dark Order comes out to like pick up Colt Cabana and take him back to the locker room. Because that's what they're like, oh, Hangman better watch his back. And, he stared down the Dark Order to make sure they weren't going to go into attack him. And they didn't. They just took him to the back, or took Colt to the back. And then I think they go to commercial after this. And they come back, and Team Taz is on the stage.
Bobby.
And Taz goes, hey, brother, look at me. I got 2 issues, brother. It's like, my first issue, Will Hobbs, you haven't answered my invite yet, which, I mean, personally, I felt like Hobbs' answer was pretty clear. But he's like, Hobbs, brother, you haven't answered my invite to invite you to Team Taz. He's like, you can either join us or we can kick the crap out of you, brother. He's like, so you better answer before I set big Brian Cage on you, brother. You better answer. And then he's like, my second issue, Dobby, you suck. Okay, so he didn't actually say Dobby, you suck, but he's like,
for and I'm minding my own dang business. Tony Khan's like, hey, Taz, you got a minute? Yeah, sure. It's like Moss in the office. He's like, Tony's like, well, Taz, if he starts with a 1 last week, he would have been getting the shot. And Taz is hot now. He's like,
you think I didn't know that, Tony? You think I didn't know that?
Taz, man, he cracks me up. I don't know what else to say.
Bro, and then Starks, he grabs the mic. He's like, Darby. He's like, put the camera on me. Zoom in on me. And then Taz is like, zoom in on him, brother. So they zoom in on Ricky Starks. He's like, Darby, you little half-faced painted freak. I'm gonna kill you. And then that was really it. I mean, that
escalated quickly. It's like, all right.
Starks is gonna kill Darby Allin, and if Will Hobbs don't join Team Taz, brother, he gonna set the path of cage on him.
Straight to the point. I love segments like this.
It fit for Team Taz.
It's refreshing. It's straight to the point. There you go.
I'm gonna float an idea, and I don't know how it's gonna be received, but Nyla Rose, Vicky does not fit Nyla Rose at all, not in the slightest. So I say put Nyla with Team Taz.
I don't hate it at all.
She would fit perfectly with Team Taz.
How
they act.
They'll never do it. Vicky will.
They'll never do it because they don't put Nyla on TV.
They don't put Nyla on TV. And look, if they do take Nyla away, she would fit perfectly with Britt Baker. They have the same personality on screen. They're both self-centered, egotistical, and I think it'd be great. But Britt doesn't need her. So I don't know. I love Vicky Guerrero. Shouts out Vicky Guerrero. Nothing against her. I just don't think Nyla's already a beast, and they don't use her. So why does she have Vicky?
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'll get more into that when we get to the women's match later in the show. But if you feel the need to put Nyla Rose with somebody, because she can stand on her own fine, she can cut a promo, but Ricky Starks can cut a promo too. So I feel like she would fit perfectly with Taz and Team Taz because she is the female version of Brian Cage, pretty much.
Yep. I don't hate that. I'm not saying I don't hate the idea of Vicky being with Nyla. I just don't. I don't really see the point. But if they're not going to use them, it's not going to matter. So
yeah. So after the Team Taz promo, we have the Chris Jericho and MJF dinner.
Please start. Look, I came on here last week and talked about this was going to be amazing. I was ready for this. I've been ready for this program for a long time. And then we get to the dinner, right? And they're sitting there having dinner, and they're doing the usual one-upping each other. And then their stakes come out rare. And in the middle of it, we get a Disney musical. I wrote down 2 words. I wrote down golly. Now, why did I write down golly? Why am I watching a musical? Why?
I'm not going to lie. At first, I didn't really like it. My first viewing, I didn't really like it. The more I watched it, the more I liked it.
I just don't understand it. Now, have I gone back and rewatched it? Yes. Has it grown on me since? Yes. I still don't understand why we got a musical. And I feel like there's like a show that we're wrestling or movie I'm wrestling that I'm missing and I don't understand why.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's just adding the element to their friendship.
I'll say this. I didn't agree with it at all Wednesday night, okay? I was totally against it. I was like, well, I'm watching a musical. I'm not here for this. It's now Friday. It has grown on me a little bit. I will say this. While I'm still not a huge fan, it could have been much worse, and I appreciate the creativity. I will say that much. I appreciate the attempt to take a chance at something that we don't see ever. Yeah. I appreciate that very much. And if there was 2 guys to try with, why not do it with your 2 best guys on the mic? Obviously Eddie's up there now, but why not do it with your 2 of your best guys on the mic? So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not feeling it at all right now. Will I come on here in 3 weeks and love it? Probably. That's how I am. Even when like new music drops, like yes, there was a musical segment. Even when new music drops, I'll listen to a new album and I'll be like, it was all right. I'll come back 3 weeks later and I'll just be rocking with it. That's just how I am. As of right now, I didn't really care for it. It was a good segment. It was great for both of their characters. I didn't appreciate the musical in the middle of my wrestling show. But
Yeah. So it started with them arguing over the steak temperature. I think NJ was like, "Can I get it well done?"
yeah,
And basically, they just start arguing until they both order blue steaks. So they order the steaks. Jericho announces that there's going to be a town hall next week with the inner circle, so they can test the opinion of the men on the streets opinion of MJF joining the inner circle. And then I wrote musical number question mark, and then I wrote that happened. So at this point, I'm done with this show. It started like the first hour was one of the first best hours of Dynamite I've ever seen, and then I hated the second hour. Like after the Rey Fenix Pentagon match, the show's just fallen off at this point to me. Like when I'm taking my notes, I'm not happy watching it. They end the musical number. They go back to their seats. The steaks come out, and they look at each other like these are disgusting.
Yeah,
and then the segment ends. Like I said, it's grown more that I've watched it. At the time, I did not like it at all, in the slightest.
I'm not there yet. I'm just not.
So after that, we get Britt Baker versus Killian King. And is it a women's match if JR is not making a perverted comment? It's not. They're sitting there, and Killian King didn't even get an entrance. They're doing Britt Baker's entrance. They're talking about last week. They had the segment with Tony was at the salon or whatever with Britt Baker, and they were doing like a waxing scene. And JR goes, "Oh well, Tony, it could have been worse. It could have been bikini wax."
I don't understand.
Somebody get their granddad, because I'm tired of this. He can't keep getting away with this.
I don't understand at this point. I don't.
I don't get it. So he makes the bikini wax comment, and of course Britt Baker wins the match because it's Britt Baker. She's gonna beat the girl that got no entrance. I feel like Killian King got too much offense in. I wrote, where is Sheeta? Where is Nyla Rose? Whatever. Because at this point, I'm over it. Y'all do one women's match a week to have your token women's match on the show, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because like there's just no fallout from the Big Swole Sheeta match. Y'all just didn't explain where Thunder Rosa went. Any update on Rio? Oh cool, we got Britt Baker. Can we get, and like, don't say you don't have established women, because you've got Sheeta and you've got Nyla Rose and you've got Big Swole. Statlander was on BTE. You can run a coming back vignette for her, or a training vignette. Especially like if you wanted to go all in on her being an alien, you can have her training in a intergalactic setting just to get another woman on the show.
Yeah.
It's like the last time we saw Nyla Rose was when they had that big Cody Brody Lee brawl. And before that, I couldn't tell you the last time Nyla Rose was on TV.
I couldn't either. I simply wrote down Britt Baker is back. Kylie King did her thing. She's going to be fine. Obviously, she's not going to win any matches right now. Britt Baker's back. We've been over this. I love Britt Baker. Very high on Britt Baker. Hope she gets the title soon. I'm with you, though. We say the same thing every week. Where is everybody else?
Yeah.
You have if you're only going to give them one match league, at least have Sheeta or Big Swole cut a promo, because they just had a match the week after.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, what a concept. Get your women's champion on TV. Who would have thought of that one?
Here's
it's obvious nobody in AEW has.
Here's my biggest thing. It's the same thing every week. Why? Like, there's so much talent there, okay? And we said it before. They're not going to put 5-star matches together right away. You got to give them the chance to get out on TV and learn. Now, I've never stepped in a pro wrestling ring. I probably never will. So I'm never going to sit here and judge a match based off of like pure athleticism, because I don't think I could jump off the top rope. I think I'd be scared to death. But at the same time, it's a podcast. We're going to review the show. I thought the match was fine. Britt did her thing. Kylie King got in offense, like you said. It was a little more than it should have been, yes. But at the end of the day, I thought the match was fine.
Well, see, that's my thing. It's not even that, oh, well, you know, even though you don't have established stars, you got to go give them a chance to go. They have established women, and they still don't put them on TV.
Yep.
It's frustrating.
That's my biggest thing. I just don't understand why. Like, if you're gonna, you can easily have them put a minute promo, and I'd be happy. Like, I would like 2 women's matches a night. Yes, I would. I'm gonna keep pushing for that. But what are the chances that happens? Slim to none, because they already have their format for their show.
And my thing is, I don't even want 2 women's matches a night just to have 2 women matches a night. Just build more than one woman's story. You can do it. I promise you.
That's my thing, because we're 2 weeks out from Full Gear, 3 weeks, and we don't know who Sheeta's going to face for the title.
I would assume Britt Baker, but they're going to have to jump on that story pretty quick.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. The match was fine. Shout out to both women. I thought the match was great for TV. I thought it was fine.
Heck, dude, Reba/Rebel was a wrestler before coming to AEW.
Exactly.
You can make her an actual women's wrestler. She doesn't have to be a manager.
That's my biggest thing. I would just love to see more than one woman spot a night. That's all I ask for. If you're gonna have one match, have the champion cut a promo. Moxley doesn't wrestle every week on TV, but he cuts promo every week.
Yeah, his presence is felt.
Do the same thing with the women's champion. And yes, I know she is from Japan and she doesn't speak English that well. That's fine. Translate it.
But my thing is, she just specifically went and learned English just so she could cut promos on TV, and they won't let her.
Exactly. That's my point. And even you can transcribe it. She can talk Japanese, and I can read. I promise. You can put it at the bottom.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's the same rant every single week with the women, and at this point, I don't think it's ever gonna change. After this, we get another Darby video, and it's Steve-O. And he's like, I'm Steve-O, this is Darby Allin. And Darby Allin gets in a body bag and rolls down a skateboarding ramp.
2 things to say, and then I'm just going to move on from this because I don't feel like spending time on it. First thing, Darby, please change your lifestyle before you don't wrestle after you're 30, because quite frankly, it's terrifying to see the things that he does. Second off, why? That's all I got to say.
In my notes, the only thing I wrote was, what the fuck are these Darby videos? Just stop. And that's pretty much how I feel about it. They don't know what they're doing with Darby. They got him making these home videos. They've got him in the rafters like he's Sting 1997. They don't know what they're doing. So, after the Darby video, which doesn't make any sense, we get the main event, a fatal 4-way tag team match. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that this was a gauntlet match at first. I don't know why. It just feels like most of their matches that are like this are usually gauntlet. So I thought it was a gauntlet match. And it wasn't, because when they came back from commercial, all 4 tag teams were out there. And I was like, oh, okay. Butcher and Blade get the bunny back. And So, they kind of explained it, kind of didn't. They showed the clip from Dark last night. Yeah. Or from Thursday night, which would be the night before Dynamite. And QT was in a match, and Eddie comes out, and I was like, hey, QT, hey, idiot, look at me, look what I got, and it's the bunny, or it's Allie, and she's dressed up as the bunny again, and she's just back with Butcher and the Blade.
Fine by me.
Which, I mean, yeah, because Eddie had said, go get your house together, go get your family straight to Blade a couple weeks ago. Did I think they were actually going to do something on TV to, like, show Allie going back? Yeah, but I guess this works. At least she's back with Butcher and Blade.
Yeah, it's like you said, they did it on Dark, and maybe that's why I'm, like, disconnected on some of this stuff, because I don't have time to watch Dark. I don't.
If you want me to watch something that matters, put it on TV.
But I'll say it again, guys. We're both in college. We both work. We got stuff to do. Like, I always am going to take time, take my notes, watch the shows like I always do each week. Because I enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy this. But at the end of the day, I got to make sure I take care of my stuff too. So
yeah. So FTR's on commentary for this match. And of course, they are very active on commentary. They called Young Bucks backyard wrestlers.
Yeah.
I wrote JR shooting. And I don't know what he was shooting about. But he was pissed at something. And he started, I think it may have been about the tag rope. Or something. I can't remember.
I don't.
But JR was shooting at one point in this match. So Young Bucks were like, the Young Bucks and Private Party were in the ring at one point in the match, and they were like, I guess like making fun of Private Party or whatever, and Private Party hit them with the double super kick spot, which I thought was cool.
I did too.
And then I kind of realized, like, when they hit that, and then, because then Butcher and the Blade and Dark Order came in the ring, the contrast of styles in this match were polar opposites.
Yes, they were.
Like, Private Party and Young Bucks are high-flying super kick spots, whereas Butcher and Blade and Dark Order are methodical, slow-paced, tag team technical wrestling. So yes, I thought it was cool to blend those styles together.
It's not a bad thing at all. I enjoyed that. I did.
It's no DQ, because at one point, like, all four teams hit the ring and they're going at it, and they mentioned on commentary that it's no disqualification, so the ref can't do anything about it. Which I don't get why nobody just got a chair and started going ham, but whatever. And then it goes to picture in picture, and once again I wrote my notes, fuck picture in picture. And then so this happened during picture in picture, and they just didn't talk about it on commentary when the show came back. Sammy Guevara attacks Matt Hardy.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
I look up, because I checked Twitter during picture in picture. I look up because Matt Hardy accompanied Private Party to the ring. And I look up, and Sammy is brawling with Matt Hardy, and they just go to the back, and it comes back from commercial, and they just don't say anything about it.
Well, that explains why Matt Hardy was gone. I wrote in my notes, where did Hardy go?
Yeah, they just didn't say anything about it. And I didn't get it. Part of that's on me because I wasn't paying attention to picture either. But don't put it picture in picture.
Okay, I'm just glad to know Matt Hardy just didn't disappear. I'm glad to know I wasn't going crazy. So
yeah, so the match is going on, and so I didn't even know this until yesterday. So Alex Reynolds got concussed during this match.
Yeah,
I didn't catch it live. So
I was reading about it yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday. I didn't catch it live. I wrote in all caps John Silver because this dude's Silver. He got a fighting spirit spot in this match, and this dude laid everybody out. I mean, this dude is a ball of energy.
Young stud.
He is laying everybody out. I mean, he's going crazy. And then I think it may ended in a near fall or whatever. Like, obviously they didn't get the win off of it, but it made me mark out because this dude went crazy.
I excited to see the Butcher and the Blade and the Dark Order in this match. Obviously, the Young Bucks are Private Party. They're playing off the Private Party beating the Young Bucks in the first tournament to determine the original tag team champions, which I thought was cool too. I always love when you can go back and play off of a story. I thought it was interesting to see Dark Order being the Elite has put Dark Order on the map, and it's very. I love seeing them on TV now more. Brody was already on TV, but I'm talking about the actual members of Dark Order, not the Exalted. But at Butcher and Blade, it was exciting for me to see them get some shine because they deserve it. They're just not going to get the belts anytime soon.
Yeah.
So
I think the reason that they put Butcher and the Blade in the match is one, because they're in the stable with Eddie Kingston, so they want to get all of them on TV, and they got Allie back, so they wanted to show that. Well, we forgot to mention, so during Cody's promo earlier in the show, because you started talking about the Dark Order, and it made me think about this. During Cody's match, Cody's like, "Oh yeah, I heard they might put a stipulation on my match next week. Like I've heard rumors of that, which I just feel like you're the executive vice president, so you should know."
Yeah.
And then in the Dark Order interview backstage, John Silver was like, "Oh yeah, Dark Order gonna be there." He's like, Mr. Brody Lee's gonna be back. We gonna be there. He's like, no matter who wins, we there. So it's announced that Cody and Orange Cassidy next week will be a lumberjack match. It will be a lumberjack match for the TNT title.
Yep.
So we forgot to mention that, and it made me think of that when you brought up Dark Order.
I love that though because it gives them so many outs, and I'm fine with it. We've talked about this off recording. I don't think the TNT title match is going to be a singles match. I think it'll be a triple threat or a fatal four-way, which is fine by me. So,
yeah, everything makes me feel like they're building to a fatal four-way match with Darby, Brody Lee, Orange Cassidy, and Cody.
Yep, which is fine by me. I'd love to see.
So back to the main event match, the Young Bucks. So the Young Bucks come in, they're cleaning house, and they point at FTR and then do FTR's finisher. I can't remember on who it was. But they hit FTR's finisher, and they go to get the pin, and he gets broken up because they took their time to taunt FTR. That's what FTR was on the commentary like, oh, yeah, see, those bozos were so worried about us, can't even take care of their own business. So the match ends, Young Bucks beat Private Party with a roll-up. And I noticed, I'm like, there's still, 5-6 minutes left. Usually the main event don't end until there's a minute left. And so FTR hits the ring. They've got beers with them. You know, they're offering the beers to the Young Bucks because that's their thing. And the Young Bucks, they slap the beers out of their hands, and FTR's like, okay. And then a dude from Timekeeper's area comes in and hits the Young Bucks with a chair. And everybody except commentary knew who it was. So commentary's like, oh my God, who is this guy from the timekeeping area that's attacking the Young Bucks? Who is this? Who is this? And because he's got a hat on and he's got a mask and a bandana on, so you can't see who it is. So they attack him. They're beating up the Young Bucks. The FTR, all right, they were going crazy. So they get one of the Bucks, they put him up for a package pile driver, and whoever this is from the timekeeping area comes off the top rope, and they do the spike pile driver. And then they rip it off, and it's Tully Blanchard, which of course, we all knew it was Tully Blanchard.
Yeah.
But commentary is losing their mind, acting like they didn't know this. I'm going crazy because Tully just came off the top rope.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I was pissed, but I'll go later.
This dude was going crazy off the top rope, and then they put Nick Jackson's leg in between a chair and jump off the top rope and snap his leg.
Mm-hmm.
Which they love, whether it's New Japan, Ring of Honor, PWG, TNA, AEW, they love going after one of the Young Bucks' legs before a match. They love doing it. But yeah, Tully did the spike pile driver off the top. And basically, the show ends with FTR raising the titles, and that was the end of Dynamite.
Yep, it sure was. I'll say this: the match was fine. The attack after the show was fine. I didn't really care for Tully Blanchard hitting them with the chair. I'm not gonna lie. I understand why it just didn't sit right with me for some reason. Maybe it's because I felt like the manager shouldn't have been doing it, but at the same time, I understand why they did it. I don't know. I was just a little, I guess, lukewarm on that. But it was a good way to end the show. Great way to end the show. We're gonna get our Young Bucks FTR match Full Gear. Great way to end the show.
I I feel like what would have been better is if it would have been Sean Spears
Yeah,
and finally linked that connection of Tully Blanchard with FTR and Sean Spears. I feel like that would have been better.
mm-hmm.
But I'll say this: I was texting my friend during the show, and I was like, "Man, with all that stuff on, Tully Blanchard looked like Terry Funk.
Yeah,
That dude was moving just like Terry Funk." I was like, they got the hardcore legend to come back."
yeah,
But yeah, I was fine with it. It was all right ending. Like I said, I was not happy with the second hour of the show. So like my mood was already killed by the time we got here. So it was fine. I just wasn't really marking out because I wasn't too happy with how the second hour of the show went.
yeah. I I thought it was a decent show. I mean, we harp on the same thing every week. I feel like we get more women involved. I didn't really care for the musical, but I'm sure it'll grow on me. Other than that, it was a solid show. I don't know what else to say about it. The solid show. Very excited for Full Gear. Little rundown of next week. We got Hangman versus Wardlow, Kenny Omega versus Ray Phoenix. Those are both tournament matches for the world title. We have Tay Conti versus Abaddon, which is a women's match. We have Cody versus Orange Cassidy for the TNT title in the Lumberjack match. And we have the Town Hall meeting for Jericho to see if MJF is going to join the Inner Circle, which hopefully will spark this rivalry and they'll get a match in Full Gear, which I want to see. So let's make it.
All right, that was AEW for October 21st, 2020. So now to round out the show, we're going to talk about theme songs, specifically Raw and SmackDown theme songs. So this segment was originally supposed to be the best Raw and SmackDown theme songs, and then I got to thinking we were probably going to agree on what the best ones were. It was going to be Rise Up for SmackDown and either Across the Nation or To Be Loved for Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go worst Raw theme song and worst SmackDown theme song. So we'll go Raw first. In my notes, I wrote down the worst song and then I wrote down when they used it. So for me, the worst Raw theme song was Born for Greatness by Papa Roach. They used it from January 2018 to September 2019. Because I pulled up all the Raw theme songs. Yeah. And obviously there were a lot that I could just... It was easier to find the bad ones that I was going to narrow it down between. Yeah. And so I listened to the ones that I felt were not good. And this was by far the worst one I listened to, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we starting with Raw. I'm sorry, I was off Raw. Here we go. My worst Raw theme song, ironically enough, is titled Raw. It was made by Jim Johnston in 1995, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't like it. The dang siren in the background. I've never liked that siren in the background of the Raw themes. Like you watching all the old Raws, and all you hear is a siren, and it.
Man, you didn't like. We're live on Monday Night Raw. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. You didn't like that? You wasn't vibing with
that. Not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't vibe with the siren like that. I'm sure it was cool for the time. I didn't like the siren at all. The song wasn't bad. It's just the siren in the background that makes me mad. The siren incorporated with the song was not. I didn't like it. That's my worst Raw theme.
Yeah, I listened to him and it's Born for dude. It just felt like a pop song. Really, I was just like, what in the world am I listening to? I didn't mind the siren. Like it didn't bother me that much. And Born, like something about just the vibe of Born for Greatness just didn't sit right with me. It didn't feel like a Papa Roach song, to be honest. It felt like more Imagine Dragons than Papa Roach.
Yeah.
So And then the worst SmackDown theme song, If You Rock Like Me by Jim Johnston, October 2008 to September 2009.
Yep.
So I Deadlock this week, the Deadlock Pro Wrestling Podcast, all of October they've been doing Halloween themed retro reviews. And so this week they did the SmackDown one from like 2008. And they're talking about how awful this theme song was. And so I listened to it after I listened to the podcast, and then I listened to it again when I had the list of all the SmackDown theme songs. Jesus, this was bad. Oh my God, it was bad. It was horrible. Nothing about that song makes me ready to watch a wrestling show.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It felt like a song you would listen to in a Nashville bar.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. My worst SmackDown theme would be Rise Up. But wait.
Whoa!
Version number 2. I was doing my research. They did 2 versions of it. Rise Up, the original version, is goated forever. It's on my playlist to this day. It's goated. But they did a version 2 where they dubbed it over and changed the speed of the song and they mixed some stuff up. And I hated it. I was sitting there listening to it and I was in pain. I was like, no, this isn't right. So I was just sitting there listening to it and I was like, this is the one. This is not it. So if you do your research, Rise Up version 2. Version 1 will forever be goated. Version 2 didn't vibe with it at all. That's my worst SmackDown theme.
Hold on. I'm listening to it in my AirPods right now.
While we wait, we can't play a song. We got copyright issues, guys. We're not trying to get sued out here. But
yeah, bro, look, with all due respect, you tripping. All right, you wilding for that one.
Version 2 is garbage. I don't vibe with it.
Dude, ain't no way version, like, look, it wasn't the OG Rise Up, but ain't no way it was better than, or it was worse than If You Rock Like Me.
Nah, I don't vibe with it.
Bro, Rise Up.
Version 2, bro, I don't vibe with it. Look, this is why we didn't do the favors, because now we got a debate going. I didn't vibe with version 2 at all. I just didn't.
Look, bro, you talking about some Rise Up is better than some hey, like.
Bro, look, if I would have picked that, we would agree it would be boring. So
I will never slander Rise Up on this podcast ever. You will never catch me slandering Rise Up on this podcast.
Slander anything. Version 1 is forever goated. They didn't have to do version 2 though. They didn't have to do that.
Bro, version 1, version 2, version 72 is still better than some If You Rock Like Me.
It might be, but we have to disagree. So here we are. Not 2 for me.
I mean, dude, we talking about If You Rock Me era, like Magic Magician Man coming on after SmackDown on My TV 30 era. Man, ain't no way.
Yep.
Ain't no way. All right, well, thank you all for listening to the last episode of 4-Star Classic. I don't know. I'm going to have to go find a new co-host if we're going to take Rise Up slander.
It was nice meeting y'all. I won't be back. Peace out.
Yeah, all right. This podcast is retired. All right, no, I'm just playing, obviously. We all got different opinions. That will do it for this episode of the 4-Star Classic. Thank y'all for listening. I promise Xavier will be back next week. I'm not going to go get me a new co-host.
I'll be here, guys. I'm not going anywhere.
I don't have enough friends to replace him like that. So I promise you he will be back. But until next time.